Johnny's typing there for irishboxing.com with Thomas Carty. We're just at the public workout for his March 17 show. Just before you get on to that, just to be talking about, you didn't cut Tyson Fury, did you?
No, it wasn't me. No, I was just out of the ring. I sparred him that
Really?
day,
Yeah, just out, yeah.
I went first that day, yeah.
Yeah, and like, I don't, what was the atmosphere like when they put Cam, or like?
I don't think it was that bad straight away.
Oh, right.
It's a bit of a shock, like, you know what I mean? But it set in fairly quick, yeah.
And what about doing rounds with him, like?
Done plenty of rounds, yeah. I was there before Christmas for 2 weeks. Came home for Christmas week, and then I actually ended up going to Vegas then with my teammate here, Johnny Walker. So I was doing 2 weeks in Vegas with Johnny for his UFC fight against Southpaw. And as soon as I came home, they rang me. They're like, "Can you come over again?"
Is that confidence boost? Is it?
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, that would solidify and validate where I'm at in my career. You know, what I mean? That these guys are ringing me and actively trying to get me in. Like Tyson texted me himself. You know?
Yeah. So he obviously enjoyed the rounds and he got the work he needed out of it.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? These guys are, you know, WBC world champion. He's not looking for any pushovers. As you can imagine, I don't need to say it, but people be like, "Oh, punch back this and punch back." No, like, you know what I mean? You have to, if you're not good enough or up to scratch, you get sent home.
Yeah, and like, what's the difference then with working with Tyson and Joshua? Like, is it, do you have to change your approach, or you just go as is, or?
Stylistically, they're obviously very, very different. You know what I mean? But in terms of like what I've been asked, you just spar straight up. You know, it's just like sparring anybody. It's just one is an ex-two-time world champion. I can imagine Joshua be world champion again. I can see him being 3-time, and then one is current reigning and heavyweight WBC world champion. So it's the same as anything. Just the intensity is a lot higher, and obviously a high pressure situation. You know.
And do you ever like look back at when, like, I don't know, you're in elite amateur stage or whatever, and what these boys do and what they're doing, and then to just pinch yourself and say, "Look where I'm at," or does it just eventually come a norm?
My whole career, people used to say, like, you can even remember back in the days, in the amateur days, everybody used to say how good I can be, how good I can potentially be, you know what I mean? I'm still only kind of chipping away, scratching the surface, but I've made huge leaps in the last 3 years, you know what I mean? I'm full-time now. This is, I eat, live and breathe boxing, you know what I mean? Never out of the gym. I haven't been out of the gym since I turned over. So I'm starting to see, you know, the results of being full-time in it now.
And can you say sort of specifically what they are, the leaps, like?
The leaps in terms of
what, like,
between
you've
amateur
seen,
and the pro.
No, that you said you've seen in the last 3 years yourself sort of change, like.
Mindset was a big thing. You know, they say boxing 90% mental, and I would agree. You know, 100% I would agree. Mindset definitely, and then I suppose, you know, I started training with John Connors, strength and conditioning training. I'm really beginning to grow into a proper heavyweight. I'm a proper heavyweight now, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be on the small side of the heavyweights. There's definitely plenty of smaller ones, you know. So there's a lot of things to go into. I suppose maturing in myself, you know what I mean?
And like, from sparring sort of Tyson and Joshua, I know not to harp onto about it too much, but like, do you know what level you're at, and like how far you are away from being where they are now?
100%. So the margins, once you get up in and around top 100 in the world, the margins are very, very, very slim. But in order to make up the space, it does take a lot of hard work and a little bit of luck as well. You know what I mean? Right time, right place. I'm not a million miles off the mark. You know what I mean? I'm realistic. You know, I'm clever enough fella. I'm not the most intelligent, obviously, because I wouldn't be boxing if I was. But clever enough to know that I can definitely secure a future for myself in the sport, you know what I mean? And I suppose go down as, you know, someone that would have had a really, really good crack at the career.
Yeah, and like, just in terms of being an Irish heavyweight, someone was saying during the week, the advantage of that, do you see advantages in that?
There isn't, like, you kind of have to play it, you have to play it right, you know what I mean? You could be an Irish heavyweight and still no one could ever hear you, you know what I mean? You have to do the right things at the right places in front of the right people. It's all down to the individual. You know, I say it all the time to lads in this gym starting out. You know, boxing's hard. You have to make yourself a commodity to people. You know what I mean? You can't be taxing on people. Like, it has to be worth their while to be involved with you. You know what I mean? You have to make noise. Be an amazing boxer, make some noise, or play the game. You know what I mean? And
you've certainly made kind of noise outside the ring, and I suppose inside the ring as well of late. And like, do you know what the kind of next step is, or the next big noise is, or what you've targeted there?
Well, I knew starting out would be hard to kind of establish a name in professional boxing. There was no Irish heavyweight that really had a good proper crack at it, you know. And I said, you know, you spar all these top names. First of all for the experience, and then second of all for the publicity that comes with it. You know what I mean? And that's been kind of a common theme in my career the last 3 years. I started off with sparring Chisora, and then I sparred them all bar Wilder and Usyk really at this stage.
Yeah, and then like you've Dillian Whyte. Would you like to spar? Oh, sorry, Usyk and it's particularly as you're his sort of not clone, but
probably,
like.
Probably not. No, I reckon it's a handful. Yeah, I'll keep it to who I've been sparring. Yeah.
And then just on March the 17th, what are you looking for, or what are you hoping for? It's kind of a little change for you, isn't it, to go from Matchroom cards to...
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to take over. There's plenty of conversations going on in the background, and I just thought that jumping on this one... Well, they came here because of me, you know what I mean? So jumping on this one would be... It would make sense, you know what I mean? With a lot of Matchroom, Katie Taylor stuff coming up, I've, you know, had the majority of my career on Matchroom shows up to this stage. I didn't want to make any changes or do anything that would jeopardise my, you know, my link of being on the next couple of Katie Taylor cards. It's looking like they might do 2.
Yeah, in the summer.
Well, one in May and then one probably late in the summer, yeah.
And have they discussed you fighting on both?
Potentially, yeah. I don't think it's out there right now, but yeah, I would be hoping to get on the cards.
And any sort of names or anything Eddie's thrown at you?
No.
Everyone talks about Johnny Fisher. Is there
everybody
a time?
like yourself?
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Fisher, yeah.
Is it a time like
dead in the water? Doesn't want to know. I had it a million times. You can do all the clickbait in the world, never happened.
He can or we can?
Anybody can.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. You know. Yeah.
So it's definitely not one.
No, I don't even actually like talking about it. I usually say before interviews, I don't even mention it because it's actually a waste of breath.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And is there anyone in your target?
It's desperate from my side. People keep asking me about Johnny Fisher. Do you know what I mean? It just sounds desperate. I say yeah all the time.
Yeah.
You know
well, we'll ask him, and if that's all right.
Yeah.
And is there any sort of targets you have, or any names sort of you'd be looking at for the match?
I'm sure. Magic is here at the moment. He was throwing a couple of names at me. None of note now. We're trying to get a fight against an English-speaking person, which would be a start. Do you know what I mean?
And I worked with
Jay McFarlane. Like I've been trying my best, believe it or not, to get notable fights or worthwhile fights. An awful lot of people, more than you probably think, keep turning me down. So all we can keep doing is knocking on the door, And
then just finally, if you say they're here for you, and
I'm the link, like
but I mean, but if they're looking to do regular shows here, is like
I think there's a massive gap in Ireland for someone to come in with the backing, maybe getting a broadcaster on board and to really give us an opportunity here in Ireland, because bar someone having a crack at it, the shows really aren't of note, you know what I mean? I would love someone to come in and have something that we could all aim to get on, that are really in it for the boxers, you know what I mean? Because we have great talent in this country, fantastic talent, and there's a massive gap between really good talent and lads turning over pro, do you know what I mean? So I'd like someone to come over that know the game, you know what I mean, that have experience in the game and kind of bridge the gap for the younger generation here, like the likes of Danny and that, you know what I mean?
Can you front that though? Or
100%, I'm hoping to be involved. I'm already involved, but I'm hoping, you'll see a lot more clearly in the future what my role will be with Irish boxing going forward.
Lovely. I appreciate it, Thomas. Thanks.
Cheers, Sonny.